Have you ever been scrolling late at night and you see them? The posts about healing, about someone finally reaching their final healed version. And as you look at it, you feel this quiet, sinking feeling, a feeling that you're falling behind, that your own journey is just a frustrating loop, while everyone else is out there finding their golden, finished selves. If you have ever felt that way, you are not alone. And tonight, you and I are going to talk about that lie. We're going to tear down the myth of the healed person and discover the profound, liberating beauty of being a permanent work in progress. We are obsessed with transformation. The story is everywhere. Fix your flaws, conquer your trauma, and emerge as a new, flawless being. It's a hero's journey for the digital age, and it sells us a destination. A sunny paradise where anxiety never visits, where old wounds are just faint, painless scars, and where we are, for lack of a better word, done. A finished product. But this story, as well-intentioned as it seems, is a trap. It creates a silent pressure cooker inside of us. And every time an old insecurity resurfaces, every time we react in a way we thought we'd grown past, every time a wave of sadness hits us on a perfectly good Tuesday, that myth whispers in our ear. You failed. The healing didn't work. You're still broken. Turns the natural, human ebb and flow of emotion into proof of our own failure. Think about a friend of ours. Let's call her Sarah. Sarah went through a devastating breakup. For a year, she did everything right. Therapy, journaling, new hobbies, reconnecting with friends. She felt genuinely lighter. She thought, this is it. I'm healed. Then one day she hears a song on the radio, their song. And for just a few minutes, the grief is as sharp and fresh as it was a year ago. In that moment, her first thought isn't, a memory. It's, what's wrong with me? I thought I was over this. All that work was for nothing. Anyhow, Sarah's experience is not a failure. It is profoundly human. Her pain doesn't invalidate her progress. It coexists with it. The myth of the healed person doesn't allow for this. It demands a complete exorcism of the past. It asks us to be statues, unchanging and serene, when in reality, we are rivers, constantly in motion, carrying everything we've ever been within us. But there's an ancient philosophy, a secret, almost, that turns this entire idea on its head. The goal isn't to become an uncracked, perfect vase. The goal is to become a piece of Kintsugi. In the Japanese art of Kintsugi, broken pottery isn't discarded. It's painstakingly repaired with lacquer mixed with powdered gold. The philosophy is that the breakage and repair are a part of the object's history, not something to hide. The cracks, filled with gold, become the most beautiful and valuable part of the piece. This is the most powerful metaphor for our journey. Your traumas, your heartbreaks, your flaws, they are not things to be erased. They are the cracks where the gold comes through. Healing isn't about getting back to a pre-broken state. That person doesn't exist anymore. You can't unbreak the vase. You can't unlive your life. Healing is the sacred act of mending yourself with the gold of self-compassion, wisdom, and resilience. Think about it. A Kintsugi bowl is more valuable, more unique, and tells a far more interesting story than a pristine one. The same is true for us. The people we admire most for their wisdom are rarely those who have lived a life untouched by hardship. They are the ones who have been broken open and have learned to fill their own cracks with gold. They don't hide their scars. Their scars garray the source of their light. So this pressure to appear healed is actually pressure to be less interesting, less authentic. It asks us to present a flat, edited version of ourselves to the world. It's like taking a magnificent Kintsugi bowl and painting over the gold lines with white paint to make it look new again. What a tragic loss that would be. You are not a product that loses value when it gets dented. Your dents are your story. This points to a deep misunderstanding of what we even are. The philosopher Heraclitus famously said, "No man ever steps in the same river twice, for it's not the same river, and he's not the same man." We are fixated on this idea of a static self that needs to be perfected and then locked in place. But you are not a statue. You are a river. The you that started this video is already gone, replaced by the you who is here now, with these new thoughts in your head. Think back 5 years. Your beliefs, your friendships, your tastes. How much has changed? Was that a failure to be consistent? Or was it growth? It was the river flowing. To demand a final version of yourself is to wish for the river to freeze into a stagnant block of ice. The myth of the healed person is the myth of the frozen river. It tells us that peace is found in finality, but true peace is found in the flow. It's accepting that you will always be becoming. There is no final draft. You are a living manuscript. You get to edit old paragraphs and start new chapters every single day. That's not inconsistency, that's evolution. And this is where it gets really deep. If we are always becoming, what do we do with the parts of ourselves we don't like? The healing myth tells us to declare war on them. But the psychologist Carl Jung, whose wisdom underlies so much of this, offered a more powerful path. Integration. He called it embracing the shadow self. And he said, "I am not what happened to me. I am what I choose to become." The shadow isn't a monster to be killed. It's everything we were taught to repress. Our anger, our envy, our fear, our wildness. The healed person myth is a fantasy of living life without a shadow, which is as impossible as standing in the sun without casting one. To try and destroy your shadow is to declare war on half of yourself. It's a war you can never win. True wholeness comes from turning around, looking your shadow in the eye, and asking, "What are you here to teach me?" Your anger might be telling you a boundary was crossed. Your envy might be pointing to a deep unmet desire. Your fear is showing you what you truly value. The shadow holds immense wisdom if we're brave enough to listen. Let's go back to our friend Sarah. When that wave of grief hits, the old myth tells her to fight it. The path of integration invites her to simply say, "Ah, Toto, grief is here. Hello, old friend. You are here because I loved so deeply. Thank you for that reminder." She doesn't have to let it drown her, but she doesn't have to pretend it isn't there. She acknowledges it, honors its message, and lets it pass through her. This is the shift from self-improvement to self-acceptance. Self-improvement, in its toxic form, says I am broken and need to be fixed. Self-acceptance says, I am a complex being of light and shadow, and I am worthy of love right now, in this moment of my becoming. It's the difference between trying to sand down all your edges and learning how to hold the whole, multifaceted crystal. So, how do we live like this, as a permanent work in progress, without feeling lost? This isn't a call for complacency. It's a call for a different kind of progress, measured by self-awareness and self-compassion. First, redefine progress. It's not a straight line. It's a spiral. You will revisit the same challenges in your life. Love, security, purpose. But each time you circle back, you are on a higher level of the spiral, with more wisdom. You're seeing the familiar view, but you are not in the same place. Second, practice radical self-compassion on the bad days. Researcher Dr. Kristen F. talks about treating yourself like you would a good friend. When that wave hits, instead of "what's wrong with me?" you can try, "I'm feeling intense grief right now." That's okay. It's a shared human experience. Let me be gentle with myself. This doesn't erase the pain, but it wraps it in a blanket of love instead of dousing it in the gasoline of self-criticism. And third, this might be the most powerful tool of all. Embrace the be-one. We are taught to think in binaries. I am happy or sad, healed or broken. The truth is, you are both. You can be deeply happy with your life and still feel moments of grief. You can be a strong person and have moments of profound vulnerability. You are healing Yanding. You still have wounds that ache. Dropping the ore and embracing the sign and is freedom. It's the permission to stop trying to fit your infinite self into a finite box. You contain multitudes. You are the triumphant Kintsugi bowl hand, the memory of the shattering. You are the flowing river handi, or the silt it carries. You are the light Yanding, the shadow that gives it form. The healed person is a ghost, a beautiful but lifeless ideal. Chasing it is exhausting because it forces you to run from your own humanity. The moment we stop chasing that ghost is the moment we can truly begin to live. To live in the messy, beautiful, painful, glorious reality of who we are. Not a finished product, but an unfolding process. Not a perfect statue, but a living, golden repaired masterpiece. If this gave you a sense of relief, a permission to just be, consider subscribing for more journeys into the art of being human. In our next conversation, we'll explore a related myth, the tyranny of positive thinking, and why embracing the negative is essential for a truly good life. I want to leave you with a question to reflect on. I would be honored if you shared your thoughts in the comments. What crack, what imperfection that you once tried to hide, are you now learning to fill with gold?